I'm Ashley Meakin, and I play Elizabeth Sawyer.
My name is Kyrie Ellison. I use she, they pronouns, and I am the intimacy director and fight director.
My name is Meredith Brown, and I am the lighting designer.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Atkinson. I am the sound designer and composer for Witch.
Hiya, my name is Nazla Black, and I'm playing Winifred.
Hi, my name is Sean Gregory, and I'm playing Frank Thorney.
The first time I read this play, I instantly knew that I wanted to be in it because it's such a unique piece. The writing is contemporary language, so it feels like it could take place like in this very moment. But it is set, as the playwright would say, then-ish, so like a long time ago. But the story and this character that I get to play is so compelling and so strong, and I instantly fell in love with it.
My first impression of Witch was, wow, this is a funny play. I wasn't sure what to expect when I read Jacobean drama, but I was really amazed to find something that was not only like queer, but funny and heartwarming, all in the same mix. It was definitely, I was definitely ready to get started. It really excited me in a way I'd never been excited by a contemporary play before.
My first impression on reading the script of Witch was that it is hysterical. It is absolutely hysterical, and then it gets real. And one of the monologues towards the end of the play actually had me in tears, but I was in such an open place because of the comedy early in the script to go to an emotional place with one of these monologues.
So what does a fight and intimacy director do? That's a huge question, but essentially what I do is I facilitate safe spaces for actors and directors to tell a story within the bounds of consent and ability of the actors in the space. So a lot of what I do is I talk with the director about what their story is and what they want to tell, and then talk with the actors about what they're excited about, and then find some happy medium in the middle using the abilities and the capabilities of the actors in the space. So there is a really big fight in the middle of Witch that kind of culminates this relationship between two characters. Without giving you any spoilers, what I actually do is I start at the end of the fight. I start with where we need to go when I'm choreographing, when I'm developing, and work backward on the points that we need to hit story-wise to help those characters progress and move forward the narrative, because that's the most important thing, right? That we're telling a story. It's not gratuitous, it's important. These characters come to physical blows because they have no other words to talk about how they're feeling, and knowing that and knowing the bits of character work that the actors are doing sort of helps us build little fence posts in between, and then we fill in movement based on what they can do.
Elizabeth is a woman who has been outcasted by her community, by society. She's someone who is deeply misunderstood. And she's learned to survive and take care of herself outside of the village. She lives by herself in the woods in her little hut. And she has a wisdom that comes from hardship and through sort of being the other. And she has a sort of strength that I was like innately drawn to when I first read the script. She's an amazing character.
Frank Thorney definitely thinks he is preordained. He thinks that he is destined for something great. And I think a lot of audience members will see different versions of themselves in Frank. We see Frank go through a journey of being so sure about himself, and then walking through feelings of, am I good enough? Am I moving towards the thing that I actually want? And the people that I'm bringing along the way and the people that I'm leaving behind. And I think one of Frank's most interesting arcs is in the beginning of the play, he has such a sureness about him, and he's living in the castle. And by the end of the play, I don't think he realizes how much he should be questioning. And I think it'll be interesting to the audience to see where he leaves everything.
The lighting design enhances the story by elevating the emotion and feelings of what is occurring on stage and accentuating the actors' movements. I like to paint the stage with light. I like to utilize sharpness and saturation of color to enhance the space and the actor's movement and experience?
I get started in my process as a sound designer and composer through script analysis, through dramaturgy, through doing research on the piece, the world, the play, the playwright, and having dramaturgical conversations with the director, having conversation about what is this play about, and where's the play taking us, and what is the audience experience is supposed to be. So really from a wide lens is how I start my approach. And out of that wide lens, those wide conversations and the research, ideas start to begin to formulate.
This rehearsal process has been incredible. We spent our first 2 days as a cast doing table reads, but more than just like reading through the play, we spent a lot of time just investigating just sort of the themes, and really one of the major questions was like, where is the humanity in every scene? What are sort of like the human ties that make all of these characters have, like, live from a place of truth that it exists in the play, but also that we could relate to in this day and age, in this very moment in our lives. So the work was really in depth. We also created which is like my favorite exercise, was a cast playlist where we had to bring to the table some music and some songs that we thought represented either our character or the themes of the play. And it's something that I've been listening to every day. And I just thought it was a really cool collaborative process that got our cast sort of working together and thinking in like a very sort of outside of the box way, that when we finally got up on our feet, we just had sort of this like groundwork that we had laid that was really special and really unique to just our 6 people in the room, plus our director and Kyrie.
I think that audiences will, I'm not really sure what audiences will take away. I hope that what they walk away with is questions, and they start to look at the world around them and start to reflect on how we treat people and what our immediate, biases are when we're looking at a person in front of us. That's what I hope they walk away with, but I also hope they enjoy it.
What I think is going to surprise audiences the most is probably who they end up identifying with in the play. I've watched this show obviously 1,000 times in rehearsal, and every time I find a new main character, a new person in the play, and I identify with a new sympathy or empathy. And so yeah, I think people are gonna leave the play being like, maybe this is a different perspective, maybe this is a different journey I wasn't expecting.
What do I think will surprise audiences about this play? I think people will be surprised to see how much of themselves they see on stage, just even in little like vignettes and in little moments where, with characters that you might not originally think yourself to be as similar as, and then, you might hear a line, you might hear a phrase, you might see an interaction between people, and you're like, oh, I've been there. I've seen that in my life, and I've seen it in other people, in my life, and I just hope that people walk away with it understanding that the human condition is vast and complicated, and it's understandable at the end of the day, because we all have these things that we're going through, and we're trying to decide what's best for us and what's best for the people in our lives, and just keeping an open mind about what that means for you.
I think that audience will be surprised that I just think because it's a dark comedy, maybe sometimes people aren't quite sure what that actually means, but I think that audiences will find themselves laughing maybe more than they might expect, and sometimes in ways that feel a little bit shocking or surprising. You might end up laughing because you're uncomfortable, which I love that. I think that the beauty and sort of significance of this play is that it makes you feel a lot of things, a lot of different emotions that are complex. It's not black and white whatsoever. And I think that will be surprising for people when they walk out of the theater and realize they felt an array of feelings throughout the night.
Do I think my soul is easily bought? That's a hard question. I think my soul can be bought, but not for cheap. I think it's an expensive soul. There's a lot of things I do for the right amount of money.
If the devil approached me to buy my soul, I think it would really depend on the day. Sometimes if I'm tired, I could probably be bought for like some corn chips and a nice bed. Definitely understand where most of the people in this play are coming from. But I also like to think that I'm stronger than that, and I have a lot of optimism for the world. Especially when I get to work with people like I'm working now. So, devil, don't come at me.
I don't think my soul is very easily bought for most things, but then there's little things like donuts that I just love. Like, yeah, I think that much like Frank, I have a certain conception of where I want my life to go and the things that I want, and you know, it's very unflappable in that way. And then every once in a while you meet a person, you have an experience, and you're like, oh man, I really want that. And I think that's why I like Frank so much at the end of the day, is he follows his heart, sometimes to a fault, and I think we can all see ourselves in that.
I do not think that my soul is easily bought. I'm pretty proud of who I am, and I do not feel that my soul is easily bought.